If she had surrendered even once, if she had bowed her head the way so many rulers did when the Mughals advanced, India might have lost one of its fiercest warrior queens long before her story was ever told. But the woman rising from the forests of Gondwana was no ordinary monarch. She was a warrior born from fire, sharpened by tragedy, and crowned by destiny. Her name was Rani Durgavati, the Tigress Queen, a woman who dared to face one of the most powerful empires in the world, and refused to stand down. This is her unforgettable story. While other princesses learned poetry and dance, Durgavati trained with bows, spears, and swords. She mastered the art of hunting tigers not for sport, but to forge her own courage. Every roar she faced, every challenge she overcame, carved her destiny deeper into the stones of history. And destiny moved quickly. Her reputation as a fierce and skilled princess traveled far, reaching the ears of the Gond kingdom. When she married Dalpat Shah, the prince of Gondwana, it wasn't a marriage of political convenience. It was a union of two powerful souls. But she did not become a quiet queen, hidden behind palace walls. She became the heartbeat of Gondwana, vast land of dense forests, rolling hills, fierce warriors, and proud tribes. Durgavati wasn't just a royal consort. She was a partner in governance, learning the ways of her new people and earning their respect. Her happiness, however, was tragically short-lived. Her husband, King Dalpat Shah, died suddenly, leaving behind their young son, Vernarion, who was just a toddler. The kingdom was left without a king, vulnerable and without clear direction. In that era, most queens would have stepped aside. Most would have allowed male regents to seize power, becoming mere figureheads. But not Durgavati. She took the throne in her own name, not as a temporary caretaker, but as the absolute ruler of Gondwana. She declared herself regent for her son, holding the future of her kingdom in her hands. And what a future she built. She raised her son not just as a prince, but as a future king, teaching him the values of courage and justice. She personally oversaw the strengthening of the army, introducing new training methods and modernizing their weaponry. She traveled through her vast kingdom, uniting the often rival tribal clans under a single banner of loyalty to Gondwana. She was a brilliant administrator, expanding trade routes, building reservoirs for her people, and commissioning public works. She modernized the kingdom's fortresses, turning them into near-impenetrable strongholds. Under her rule, Gondwana thrived like never before, becoming a beacon of prosperity and stability. But power, especially in the hands of a woman, attracts enemies. And far away in Delhi, a storm was rising. The Mughal Empire, under the ambitious Emperor Akbar, had one clear goal: to unify all of India under the Mughal banner. One by one, kingdoms across the subcontinent fell. Some surrendered their sovereignty peacefully. Some were conquered in brutal campaigns. Others simply vanished into the pages of history. But when Mughal officials looked south, towards the forested kingdom of Gondwana, they hesitated. They had heard the rumors tales of a queen who hunted tigers for sport, who trained with her soldiers day in and day out, who rode at the head of her own army. A queen who had sworn an oath to die rather than submit. That queen was Rani Durgavati. For years, the Mughals chose to avoid direct conflict with her, respecting her strength, or perhaps, underestimating her resolve. The kingdom of Gondwana remained an island of independence. But in the year 1564, everything changed. Akbar's ambitious generals, particularly the powerful commander Asaf Khan, decided the time had come to bring Gondwana into the Mughal fold. They saw its wealth, its strategic position, and saw a queen they believed could be broken. Asaf Khan was dispatched with a massive force of thousands of highly trained Mughal soldiers, complete with advanced artillery and cavalry. The storm had finally arrived at Gondwana's doorstep, and the Tigress queen prepared to defend her home. Her advisors, seeing the sheer size of the invading army, pleaded with her. "Your Majesty, their army is huge, a force unlike any we have faced. We cannot win. Withdraw to the mountains. Negotiate a treaty. At least protect the life of the young prince, Vernarion." Durgavati listened, then looked at them with eyes that burned like embers. "If the Mughals want Gondwana," she declared, her voice echoing with unshakable resolve, "they must fight the mother of the prince before they ever touch the sun." Her words were like lightning, igniting the spirit of her soldiers. Fear was replaced by a fierce pride. She rode into battle wearing a red turban, her body clad in shining armor, and in her hand, she carried the legendary Harajoti spear, a weapon that became the symbol of her defiance. Her trusted warhorse, Sarman, charged forward like a bolt of lightning. Her generals followed her lead. Her warriors roared her name, a thunderous cry that shook the very ground. The forests of Gondwana trembled with the sound of the queen's army, ready to die for their land. The first major clash came in the Narai Passa narrow valley, flanked by two hills. protected by the dense, unforgiving forests she knew so well. Durgavati had chosen this battlefield deliberately, using her knowledge of the terrain as her greatest weapon. Here, the Mughals' biggest advantages were nullified. Their powerful cannons were useless in the tight space. Their famed cavalry was trapped, unable to execute their devastating charges. Their rigid formations completely broke apart in the chaotic landscape. Then, Durgavati attacked. From the hills, from the trees, from the shadows, her army descended upon the invaders. A storm of arrows rained from above. Spears launched from hidden pits in the ground. The valley echoed with Gond war cries, disorienting and terrifying the Mughal soldiers who had never fought in an environment like this. Durgavati herself led the charge, her spear, a blur of motion, sweeping through enemy lines. Soldiers who survived that day later said she fought like a goddess possessed. The mighty Asaf Khan, a celebrated Mughal general, was utterly outmaneuvered and forced to retreat in humiliation. A queen had defeated the invincible Mughal Empire, feat almost no one else had achieved. But the victory, as glorious as it was, came with a chilling warning. The Mughals would be back. They would return stronger, fiercer, and angrier. Their pride wounded, and they did. Asaf Khan, determined to erase his defeat, returned with a truly massive army, tens of thousands strong, reinforced with heavy artillery. Gondwana was now outnumbered, almost 10 to 1. This time, her generals begged her again, "Rani, retreat. Flee to the fortresses deep in the mountains. We can hold them off for years." But Durgavati refused. It is to stand where they can see her, to fight where they can hear her. She mounted her horse, Sarman, one more time, lifted her Hirajioti spear, high, and rode into the final battle of her life. The Mughal army advanced like a black tide, a sea of steel and fury. Cannons thundered, the explosions tearing through the air. The sky darkened with volley after volley of arrows. The ground shook under the march of thousands of soldiers. But Durgavati did not flinch. Her son, Prince Vernarayan, now a teenager but already a lion in spirit, fought bravely by her side. Together, mother and son cut through the enemy ranks, a whirlwind of defiance. Durgavati was struck by an arrow in her neck. With a grimace of pain, she pulled it out herself and kept fighting. Then, a second arrow pierced her eye. She wavered, her vision blurring, her strength starting to fail, but she kept fighting. Her generals, their hearts breaking, surrounded her, begging her to flee. "Retreat, Rani, we will protect you. Live to fight another day." She looked at her loyal men, her vision fading, and whispered words that would echo for eternity. How can the mother of Gondwana flee while her children die for her? Her beloved horse collapsed from its wounds. She was on the ground, surrounded by a closing circle of enemy soldiers. And in that final, defining moment, she made the decision that sealed her legend. She took out her personal dagger, the same one she had carried since she was a girl, and ended her own life before the Mughals could capture her. She chose death over dishonor, sacrifice over surrender, pride over chains. The Tigress queen of Gondwana roared one last time, and then fell silent. The entire Mughal army stood in stunned silence. Even the victorious Asaf Khan, it is said, bowed his head in respect. For they had not merely defeated a queen, they had witnessed the birth of a legend. Durgavati's sacrifice was not in vain. It saved her people from the humiliation of seeing their queen captured. Her legacy ignited a spirit of resistance that would continue for generations. Her incredible courage inspired warriors all across India, becoming a symbol of ultimate pride, strength, and absolute fearlessness. She was not just a ruler, she was the embodiment of Hindustan's warrior spirit, a tigress who fought until her final breath, and whose roar still echoes through the halls of history. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment your favorite topic you want me to cover next. Your support helps bring these forgotten queens back to life.